You have two choices in life. One, do you want to keep swimming or do you want to drown? So if you're stuck, for example, if you are stranded in the sea and you have two choices, you can see the island right at the end. Maybe you see, maybe you don't, but you have a better chance to stumble upon an island. So you have two options. Do I keep swimming or do I surrender and drown? My choice was to keep swimming. I'm still trying to navigate my life the best way I could. But at this point in time in my life, I feel like I've come to a point where I think I got it. I think I solved the puzzles. And I left a lot of opportunities in Malaysia because I was already rising. So when I came back, it was almost a decade. So I had to start all over again.
After 8 years, you came back to Malaysia, your own country. You could have stayed there in United States.
Yes.
And United States is the land of opportunity. What prompted you to come back to Malaysia?
I think United States is the land of opportunities, but Malaysia is also a land of opportunity, and this is why you are here.
Hello, Wise House. Today's episode is brought to you by Mevrik, the ultimate AI-powered platform for customer support and engagement. With Mevrik, you can manage all your customer conversations from one place, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Messenger, email, or more. And here's something special for Wise Owl Talks audience. Click on the link in the description and use the promo code WISE20 at checkout to get 20% off your subscription. It's exclusive for Wise Owl Talk subscribers, so don't miss out. Boost your customer experience with Mevrik AI today.
Thanks for having me.
Eternal flame over here.
No. Can I ask you guys a question though?
Oh yes, this is
If you had to choose between being a billionaire or being immortal, which one would you choose? Billionaire or immortal?
I would say that I would choose to be both.
You can only choose one.
Okay,
Immortality or 1 billion.
I will go for immortality.
But you have to remember though, if you don't ever die and the people around you start to die,
Yes.
and you're gonna have to start over each and every time when your family dies, your friends die, and you gotta make new friends for the rest of your life.
So Chelsea, what would you choose?
I would rather choose being a billionaire, not because I'm a gold digger, but
I like that.
not because of that. Do you know that number one reason of a divorce, it's not cheating, it's about
Yes.
money. So we
Yes,
had
it's finance. Yes.
Yeah.
We spoke about that on the podcast too. Second podcast.
When you're married to someone, you're on the same boat. If you sink, I sink. And it's very selfish for anybody to not think or consult the other person, their
Right,
partner, in
right.
terms of their finances. You work as a team. You're supposed to work as a team.
So is it
Coexist.
all about
Yes.
finance or is it about the growth mindset?
Finance is all about mindset too. It's the same thing.
Yes.
It's all about your mindset. Everybody has different mindset when it comes to finances. Some people are contented just having a simple life, but there are
Right.
people who want more and
Yes,
more.
yes.
But for me, as long as I do something ethically, I'm making money ethically.
Right.
And if I'm making a lot of it, that's a blessing, and
Right.
I thank God for that. But I'm not money hungry, I'm not greedy, so at least I know I have that balance.
You have appeared in many magazines, yes, Hypertune, Cow Page, and a lot more, I would say, in actress too. Chelsea, you have turned the world around. And yes, it's in your hands, all yours right now, Chelsea, to share that with us, how it all began.
I would say how it all started. It wasn't really because I was constantly feeling lost, always wondering what is the purpose of life? Why am I even here? But I resigned to the fact that at the end of the day, we just go with the flow and see what happens. In any case, after the beauty pageant, I started to, do a lot of fashion shows, things like that. And Andrew's models. And it
Wow,
was
Andrew.
it was very funny, how that happened with Andrew, because one of the models that I've worked with, she wanted to go to the office to pick up her check, and she said, let's go, because we just got done with our fashion show. So she said, let's go together. So I went up with her to Andrew's office, and he saw me and he said, hey, would you like to do my seat show, SED seat? And I was like, oh yeah, sure. I was still really, to be honest, kind of like going with emotion, going with the flow. And I was thinking, wow, this is happening to me. Everything was being put my path. And that was when I realized that, maybe I am meant to be doing this at this point in time in my life. And after that, I just, Andrew was booking me a lot a lot of the magazines, like the inside ones, like Female and all that kind of, all of the popular magazine at that point in time, I just kept working and working and working, and the next thing you know, time has passed by. No, I mean, also I joined like 2 other beauty pageants, and I did represent Malaysia for Miss Malaysia Queen of the World in Dusseldorf, Germany. We lived in Rhode Island, so this is why I couldn't really go to New York. I did, but very rarely I would go for a casting because it's 5 hours away from where I live. Yes. Boston is the closest. I was signed to Dynasty Models for 8 years. Every year it was renewed. And I was also freelancing in Rhode Island with a couple of other agencies. So in any case, being away for 8 years, people have forgotten about you. And back then, internet wasn't that big. Right. Internet wasn't that popular, and everything was in newspapers, magazines. So when I came back, it was almost a decade. So I had to start all over again. And when I started doing fashion shows, my junior thought I was a new girl. And they were trying to give me some pointers. I said, oh, thank you. That's so sweet. But another girl actually said, oh, so it's, how we do the choreography. So it goes like this, like that. They were just being helpful. And I smiled. I said, oh, thank you. That's so sweet. Because they thought they've never seen me before. Like they thought I was a new girl before we did the show.
But they didn't know Chelsea Chiu was doing the choreography back then to others.
But anyways, and within I think I came back, and within about, I guess, less than a month, so I started to do some blogging. And it caught somebody's eyes. Alex is his name, the DJ. He said, hey, Chelsea, would you be interested in doing a reality show with me? And I said, a reality show, what is it about? Because I was like, if it's modeling, I don't want it. That's because I've been modeling for a very long time, but it's home designing. I said home designing because in the States, you have one channel, like few channels actually dedicated to only home decorating, home designing.
Yes, yes.
So I will watch that all day. And I would be telling myself, you know what, if I ever was to join any reality TV show, it's going to be home designing. And I remember saying that to one of my friends. It was like a very popular reality TV show, right? But anyways, back to Alex. I said, what is it? What's the reality show about? And he said, it's home designing. And I was like, what?
And how long ago actually you suggested this, you manifested this, and right after that you were given an opportunity to be on?
Like a year prior to me coming back to Malaysia. And I never even thought that it would happen. Yeah. That's why I said it's very important when you say something, whatever that comes out from your mouth, the universe is listening. And you're going to attract the energy. There are 8 teams, and from all over the world, mixture of race, different background, different countries. Me and Alex, basically, we represented Malaysia. This was a big reality TV show that aired in Astro, Star World, and all that.
Okay, I need some advice, especially comes to tarot card readings. Okay, how do you first got into tarot, and how did you find out about tarot, and why tarot out of all other things?
We were modeling, and it was like a bridal expo. It's like a whole day bridal show. So you take a break in between, like an hour, and then you come back and you stand by, and then you do the next show. So I walked past this booth, and she looked at me and she smiled and she said, would you like to try? I said, what is this? And she goes, it's tarot reading. She said it was something to do with prediction. So I said, okay, I'll try. And then she read the cards for me, and she actually said, you're planning to go to somewhere very far away, and it says here not to go because it's not a good idea. You're not going to be happy. That's what I can see. That was when I was going to the States. I was already planning then to go to the States, but I didn't take it serious. She gave me a card, but I lost it. But after so many years, like after I came back, I thought of that lady, the tarot lady who told me that prediction. And I felt like maybe I should get another reading, but I couldn't find her because back then, again, internet wasn't really popular. I have a friend, she also does tarot reading, and I paid her to do my tarot reading, and she did it for me. But I mean, she's fine and everything, but I just wished there were more details. And I thought to myself, why don't I just learn to read for myself?
Right.
And I can get all the details that I
Yes,
want, that I wanted. But it's funny because when you do the tarot reading for yourself, you can't be biased.
Yes.
And because you already know what's going on.
Right.
So I ended up asking my mom to be my first guinea pig. And she said, there's nothing about me. I'm already retired. Anyways, long story short, my mom always knew I was highly intuitive anyways, because one time she got into a really bad car accident and I was only like 10 or 11. She would normally go to work as usual, but I was crying. I was begging her not to leave the house. I was pulling her skirt. She was wearing long skirt at that time. She was just dragging me while I was on the floor, asking her not to leave the house. She said, "What's wrong with you?" I was crying like bloody murder, right? Everybody, my aunt, because we all lived in the same house. So my aunt, my uncle, my grandma, my granddad, everybody came out and said, "What's wrong with Chelsea? Why is she screaming and crying?" Like they have never seen anything like that from me. And then my mom just left. She went to work and I was still crying the whole time. And what I did was I sat next to the phone. I sat next to the phone waiting for the phone to ring because I knew it was going to ring. And then my aunt called, it rang, and I answered the phone call, and she said, "Chelsea, I'm coming to pick you up." I said, "Are we going to the hospital?" She said, "Yes, and your mom got into an accident." And I cried, to continue to cry. I said, "Okay." And my aunt came to pick me up, and we were at the hospital. By that time, my mom was already awake. She flew out of the van, and her coworker also flew out of the van, but then he passed away almost on the spot, and she broke her leg. And
So she always mentioned this: in life, just keep swimming, keep swimming. So
Yeah.
exactly what you just shared here, and that's just how
Yes.
Chelsea believed in herself.
Talks once again.
thanks
Yeah,
to
thank
me.
you.